If you're thinking about starting a cleaning company, you are likely overwhelmed by a mountain of how-to videos telling you to buy a vacuum, print out some business cards, and start scrubbing the floors. But before you spend a single dollar, you need to decide which game you're actually playing. You can either build a job for yourself, where you're managing mops and personalities, or you can build a remote asset that gives you back your time. Okay, enough thinking. It's time to choose your path. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Tina Servis, and I've spent the last 19 years in this referral-based house cleaning industry. And I've seen founders burn out not because they couldn't clean, but because they chose a business model that was too heavy for them to carry. Today, we're going to do a deep dive comparison between the traditional W-2 model and the referral agency model. This isn't about guru hype, it's about model design. All right. So most beginners default to the W-2 model because they think it gives them control. They think if I hire employees, I can tell them exactly what to do and I can control quality. But in the cleaning world, control and quality can be very expensive. This is what I like to call the complexity tax. When you hire a W-2 employee, you aren't just paying an hourly wage. You are paying for payroll taxes and workers' compensation, and this scales with every single new person you hire. You're paying for liability and equipment. You are responsible for the vehicle, the insurance, the $800 vacuum that gets broken, and the chemicals. If your vacuum breaks at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday, that is your problem. And number 3, the training trap. Most W-2 hires in this industry are potential, not experts. You spend weeks training them. You pay for people to teach them how to clean. And then what happens is when they're ready to go out on their own, they stop showing up. Why? Because they found a better job that pays more. This leads to high turnover and quality fatigue. As a beginner, if you start here, you are an operator. You aren't building a business. You're building a high-stress management job for yourself. Now, let's take a look at the alternative. What I run. It's called a referral agency. And you might have heard of companies like Uber, Instacart, Grubhub. They're all the same thing. They're referral agencies. In this model, you're a broker of talent. You move from being an operator to an asset owner on day one. Instead of hiring potential and training them, you partner with established independent contractors. These are people who already have their own equipment, their own insurance, and their own reputation. You aren't teaching them how to clean, you're providing them with the volume they need to grow. This business in a box you're building isn't a fleet of vehicles and a boatload of vacuums. It's a brand, a system, and a client list. It's light, it's fast, most importantly, it's remote. If this tactical breakdown is helping you see the industry differently, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'm sharing these systems to help you avoid the mistakes I saw and made over nearly 2 decades so you can build for freedom, not just a paycheck. All right, let's keep going. So here I want to talk about the IRS framework, or the 3 pillars of the IRS 20-point standard. So to run a referral agency successfully, you have to understand that there are 3 pillars that keep you compliant and profitable. This is called the IRS 20-point rule. I call it the IRS framework. So pillar number 1 is behavioral. In a W-2 world, you control the how. In a referral model, you define the result. You don't tell a pro how to go and mop. You tell them the client expects a specific standard, and you vet them to ensure that they can hit this. This removes you from the training cycle. Pillar number 2 is financial. We move away from that hourly trap, that hourly pay, and instead of paying someone to stay at a house for 4 hours, we use what's called revenue share. This aligns the contractor's goals with yours. They want to be efficient and high quality so they can move to the next job. Their profit is tied to their performance. And pillar number 3 is relationship. This is a partnership of professionals. You provide the marketing, the scheduling, and the back office support. They provide the labor. It's a clean, professional dynamic that doesn't require you to be a boss in the traditional high drama sense. Okay, So the real reason I advocate for the referral model for beginners is really about lifestyle engineering. So I'm going to go in and do a little bit of backstory here. So when I first started my company 19 years ago, I came from the HR world and I came from the systems and process world. And I knew that I needed to work, but I didn't want to be going into corporate all the time. And it's not that I didn't want a full-time position. I didn't want to herd cats. I didn't want to babysit, right? So I knew that I had to come up with something that was going to allow me to have the freedom to be the mom that I wanted to be, take my children where I wanted to take them. They were both in sports, so we did a lot of travel activities. And I wanted to not be tied down to a brick and mortar location. This is exactly why I built the referral model. Now, what that has allowed me to do is basically work from anywhere. And interestingly enough, when I first started my company, people would always ask me, like, how can you run a remote cleaning company? Like, I don't understand. How can you not have an office and all of these things? And what they didn't understand until Uber came out was that you can actually do it. You can run a remote cleaning business without having any employees. You can run a referral-based model. And that's why I built this business. And over the past few years, I've been coaching other cleaning companies and getting them to this referral-based model as well. I see W-2 people challenged all the time. They don't know what margins, they don't know how to pay, they are stressed out, they feel like they've invested a lot into their business, a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of energy, and they're just burnt out. So I'm on a mission to show people that you can run a remote cleaning company or a referral-based model without all the stress that the traditional W-2 model takes. So typically, a W-2 company is tethered to a physical location. You have to be where the vehicles are, you have to be where the supplies are, you have to be where the employees are, because if something breaks, something goes wrong, you have to be there to fix it, right? But if your business is built on a referral model, you can manage it from anywhere. I have been in Italy, I've been in Croatia, I've been in Greece, all running my business. Now, I've gotten to the point where I only work about 4 hours a week in my business, and my goal is to get you there as well. But I want you to focus on model design and creating a system where the business works because the parts are professional, not because you are there to micromanage them, okay? All right, so choosing between these two models determines your stress level for the next 5 years. If you want the lean version, the version that leads to $1 million model without the W-2 headache, then stop overthinking and start building the system. I've put my 19 years of veteran experience into frameworks designed to help you launch this from scratch. Check the link in the description below to join my school community and get the Business in a Box roadmap, plus a bunch of free courses. All right, everyone, here's to your success. I'll see you in the next lesson.